The ego is the false self. It wants to exist. It's not even real. It's the it's the separator. It's the divider. It's that which a lot of us call esteem, which is really an illusion. It gives us a sense of pride. Oh, Superfly, you're gonna make your fortune by. But if you lose, don't ask no questions why. The only game you know is do or die. Hard to understand, but a hell of a man. This cat of the slum had a mind, wasn't dumb, but a weakness was shown. Because deep down inside, you really don't love yourself. So you have to have this artificial source of self-love, which is the building up of the ego. So a lot of us don't even know it's there because it's like a shadow upon us. And this is the main reason that the majority of people on this planet will never reach ascension. It's like the lamas in Tibet say when it comes to achieving the ascended state or achieving the rainbow body. You have to have positive thoughts. For like 12 years they claim. That's what they say. But when a person, because see, it's like this. If you're not living in your ego, that's easy to do. But if you're living in your ego, the ego eventually it will try to belittle other people in order to build itself. It must have this recognition, whether it be from others, whether it be that person that is living in their ego, looking for validation from other people. All your friends are telling you should have a fancy car, diamond ring. But girl, you know all good things come in time. Girl, you know I do just about anything. See you smile on your face. Don't let your friends go messing with your mind. To build themselves, or whether it be them themselves, maybe buying certain material things to make them feel better. But they're not really making themselves feel better. They're making the ego feel better. The ego is an illusion. But yet we all think we different. But how is that possible once you really understand that we all come from one source? So how can we all really be different? We all live in these separate lives, all different realities, but yet we all come from the same source. The ego is the illusion. Let me prove it to you. We all come from one source, the cosmic creator, the universal mind. Remember, one of the main laws, or hermetic laws, or cosmic laws, is the all is mind. The universe is mental. We all come from this cosmic mind. Therefore, we are all fragments of the Creator. Fragments, okay? Experiencing itself through the ego in many different dimensions. But if all of us was to go back to source, we would be one unit. Okay? So the ego is the false self. It is the divider, the separator. It wants to exist. It feeds off pride. It feeds off a false source of love, which is egoism, which is material things, which is other people's validation to build their false love for themselves, which is ego.
It's an insane world, you understand? There is no sanity in the religious world, in the economic world, there is no sanity. Don't be corrupt inside. Don't seek vanity. Don't say I'm superior to somebody else. You learn a great deal if you're really humble. If you're merely seeking success, money, 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 power, position, status, you're beginning with corruption. You might be poor. Be poor. Who cares? Find your own talent and stick to it, even though it doesn't bring you success, fame, and all that, which is all nonsense anyhow, because we're all going to die.
Let's not forget about job titles. In other words, I'm better than you, just like the jealous God in the Bible. He's an egotistical God. He thinks he's the one and only God, but yet the Bible says, ye are all gods, children of the Most High God. Even in the book of Genesis, it says that the sons of God were looking up on the daughters of men. So there's more than one God, but of course, when you got a big-ass ego, you think you the motherfucker of them all. You think you just the all of them all. You see? Do y'all see what I'm talking about? So once you kill the ego, then the soul will grow. A lot of us think that we are so highly advanced and spiritual, but you're no more better than the Christian, or I would say the Muslim people that have the mindset that I'm better than you because I know more than you. I'm better than you because I feel I'm more righteous than you. All this ego. Okay? The false self. If a person is dwelling and living in their heart, or their heart chakra, which is the gateway to the kingdom, the crown chakra, they don't care nothing about none of that shit whatsoever. Anyway, sometimes you got to go back to the basics, because a lot of us, we just ain't there yet, y'all. Until then, peace.
What is called automatons. And automatons are people that don't even have a mind. Now check this shit out. Do you know that everybody down here doesn't have a mind? A mind has to be cultivated. So in order for your mind to develop, you got to be cultivated in a society that knows how to jumpstart your mind to working. They're called automatons. They're on automation, which means they can only be controlled by the society. So whatever the society want to control them, they design this thing to control the society. And one of the things how they design to control you and lock you in is education, because it's not real education. You see what I'm saying? It locks the mind down. You see? So what happened here is most of the people in the society don't develop a mind. They are only imitating pockets of the society that they are in. Programs that are designed for them, you see what I'm saying? That is designed for them to go about their day. As we sleep is our ego self, our false self. So now, but the ego that we're talking about as far as expressed based on human function, that's a different form of the ego. But one of the ways you get back to getting rid of that false self is humility. But so there's a difference in the ego with a person being egotistical, and the ego that I'm talking about is just your general life itself. That you suspect that you are the person you are, but in other words, you are a greater person than what you suspect. Because why? Because when you die, what happens to that particular person that you thought you were? It goes, you see what I'm saying? It dissolves or bounces around as thought forms or ghosts, but mainly your soul goes on to have other experiences. So that's the ego that I'm talking about.
And when you reach a certain plateau, a certain vibrational state, the process will continue in physical reality, but it will no longer be a process of letting go of negative definitions. Once you are fully positive, there will be no more negative definitions to let go of, but you can still remain physical and go into fourth density and alter the process to be one of now not letting go of negative definitions, but letting go of things that are simply no longer relevant to who you know yourself to be.
And when you talk about letting go of negative definitions, I wondered about this. It means you would never have a negative thought?
It means you can observe the idea of negativity. You can play with the idea of negativity. It's just that it will never have an effect because you will be looking at it from a neutral observational point of view. Look at it this way. Do you see that you have a shadow on the ground?
Yes.
Well, look at it. Does it affect you in any negative way? It's a shadow. It's the opposite of the light, but you're just looking at it as a neutral phenomenology. It's just a shadow. Big deal. That's the way you will look at the idea of negative definitions, of negative energy. It's just a shadow. It needs to be there in order for you to perceive the light. So thank you, shadow. If it wasn't for the dark, I wouldn't see the light.